after this. My niece goes into surgery day after tomorrow, so, and I've got family staying with me. It's going to make it almost impossible to stream. I have 3 drives working in my computer now, which is more than I had when my computer died, so that's good. I have 2 SSDs and a hard drive. It's a bit unfortunate, but got to do what you got to do.
Oh man.
Yeah, so do I, Lizzie. Thank you. She should be fine. She's strong as an ox. She's worse than me. Stubborn little cow she is. Adorable, but stubborn.
I meant to say this during the last break, but I was gone for too long. I'm super excited about how great the chat is during D&D. And I think my favorite thing that happened during the first hour is that chat decided they're the voices in Brieg's head, which is wonderful. Oh my gosh, I totally want him to read the chat that way now. Like, how insane is it to have, like, those sentences specifically be the voices in a D&D character's head in this setting, in this world? And, like, little pictures of Kappa and little, like, heart emoticons. I just, every time they say anything, I think of it through that lens now.
So, I had a thought. I know these guys...
I will pause you on that thought, because something is happening, and we'll come back to you in a moment. You're standing downstairs, Rogar.
Oh, do we need to recap?
Do we need the hourly recap before?
Oh,
yeah, let's do our quick YouTube intro.
Yes.
And recap before we jump to that.
So just doing the last hour of recap.
Oh.
Is that a Cthulhu face? That's my favorite emoticon that has ever happened.
And now that's in Brieg's mind, because that's your inner monologue. Yes, and Magecron, apparently I have invented Meld in this universe, and we are the XCOM aliens. Alright, but now, Mark, YouTube recap starts. Who's doing it?
You.
Me, okay. YouTube recap starts here. In the last episode, guards appeared at the door of the inn and threatened us, and we tried to cooperate, and they wouldn't let us cooperate. I guess that was 2 episodes ago. The beginning of this episode was the beginning of that combat, or the last episode, was the beginning of that combat with the guards. We struck fear into them quite effectively. They tried to flee for their lives. 2 of them did not suffer that very well. One's unconscious and very heavily wounded. 1 is dead. 1 we've knocked out more politely, and he'll recover. And we've drugged, that's their captain, their leader. We've drugged him back inside the inn. 2 are under a soon-to-end charm spell. And Tabarin and Harbeck are negotiating how we're going to handle this situation and its long-term consequences of killing what we learned is a religious faction in the town who dislike new technology and seem to have a sort of parallel authority with the actual town guards. So they seem to be quite a threatening force in this town, and we need to handle the situation delicately. And we're in the midst of that conversation as we pick up this episode.
Yes. So Harbeck and Tabarin are upstairs discussing what should be done about the charmed guards and the remaining guards downstairs. Rogar is praying to Bahamut downstairs over the corpse of one of the fallen guardsmen when he hears a bellowing voice, "Rogar!" and the door swings open. As you turn around, and I don't have the token for him because I lost the token that I had prepared for him, which makes me sad. But as you spin around, you see a familiar face, a face from your past. It's a member of your old hunting party from the Old Lands, which is incredibly strange. He was one of your closest friends, but once you'd made the decision, the assisted decision, to leave your homeland, you you thought you'd never see these guys again, and most of them shunned you and turned you away, but he has shown up. He is a fearsome fighter, unmatched by anybody in your tribe, as far as you're aware. And as he strolls into the room, he looks around, unshoulders his heavy war mace, slams it into the face of the guard that is lying on the ground unconscious, and strolls towards the two that have their backs turned, that are praying over the corpse of their dead friend. What are you going to do about it?
Did he come in through the front door?
Yep.
So, so before we do that, I've decided that, you know, I'm mostly just like killing time out here for like an hour before I go and grab a guardsman. And I've decided that while Din is helping me get little things to feed my ferret, we're just like standing in that little marketplace, and I'm trying to explain to her the nature of good and evil, and why when we're like out in a dungeon and we run into stuff, we can usually just kill it because some things out there are actually evil, but people, it's a lot more complex, and I'm sure it's a super awkward and terrible conversation, but we're still close enough to hear that guy throw open the door and yell Rogar so we can come respond.
And watch him completely undo all of your teaching.
Right. But, wow.
As he strolls in and just crushes the skull utterly of one of the guys lying on the floor. So yeah, he's now strolling towards the two guys at the back of the room. What are you going to do?
Well, I have to admit, based on the way that they attacked us, I'm not actually incredibly sympathetic. I think I'm just going to wait, because if I'm yelling, it's just going to draw their attention anyway. It's not like I want him to actually have to fight them normal. I don't even know what to do.
It's gonna
lot of situations.
Stand there and job.
I'm certainly no match for him.
His character is going to react exactly like we all do. Stand there in stunned silence.
What I will do is trust in my tribe and their fealty to Bahamut.
Yes.
Okay. It should also be mentioned that this guy, not only is he a fearsome warrior, he is also a devout cleric, so...
Oh, that actually makes me feel significantly better about it. Okay. I'm
Okay.
sure. Ruthlessly killing people, but optimally he has a reason.
I'm going to just... it's a placeholder token, but you'll deal with it. It's like a copy of your token, basically. Except that... No, it is an exact copy of your token, but yours has a health bar, so we'll be able to determine them apart. It's just a placeholder. Okay, as he strolls further down towards the room, he encounters the guard captain that's lying on the ground. He doesn't even bother using his mace. He just steps on the human's skull, and it crushes under his foot. Continues to walk forward, and as he walks forward, these two guardsmen turn around. I've already rolled the attacks. And he swings his club in, or his great war mace, in a sweeping arc, and catches both of them with the blow, dealing insane amounts of damage because he hits really, really hard with this thing. And they both crumple to the ground, where he gives them both a short kick to make sure that they're truly dead. And then he turns to you and embraces you like a brother. Rogar, it has been too long. How are you, my friend?
Well, I guess that answers that question.
And you guys upstairs will have heard
Arbeck.
the shouts of Rogar and the door opening up and the clash of metal against metal.
The commotion brings us downstairs, certainly.
So as the guy calls out Rogar, we start like heading back over to the door, and and poor Brig goes, "You see, the thing is with people, it's often much more complicated, and you can't just kill them without considering what just happened."
And Din and everybody else.
We shouldn't go back in there.
Well, I'm doing very well, but
All right.
there are some gaps in my knowledge about these men.
Din and I are both just standing by the door, kind of staring.
These men, followers of We Are, that's what they told you. Fancy cloaks, armor, that doesn't make them a follower of We Are. That doesn't make them a follower. Not at all. These men here, servants of Sarath. They came looking for something. I don't know what it was, but I was sent here by the council to try and find out.
I might be able to shed a bit of light on that.
Before you do, one
Shouldn't he
moment.
have asked them before he killed them all?
And after
really
he says,
don't know.
It's of Sarath.
before you wait, he says, before anything else, one moment, and he kneels to the ground and rests his head on the hilt of his warhammer, which he's rested on the ground in front of him, and starts to pray. And you see the holy symbol of Bahamut spread beneath him and encompass the entire room, flash brilliantly with light, and then disappear. Now we're safe. Go on.
They came here searching for a group of people who are working on what they called forbidden science.
No, they didn't.
Well, okay, then I can't shed any light on your situation. They were looking for a juggler who was performing in the street outside. I don't know if that was also part of the cover, or if that helps you at all with your investigation.
I don't know what's
No, that-
happening, Din.
Neither. I feel
Rogar,
like if he was looking for something, he should have asked them before he killed them all.
Rogar, I've done you a service here. I've killed the followers of Sarath that were, no doubt, trying to murder you, or at least locate you. I'm still not sure why, but you need to keep your eyes peeled. I've made this place safe. No follower of Sarath will find you here, or be allowed to enter, and the protection will last. So, feel safe. I must continue on my journey. I have my own things to do. Dispose of these bodies, tell no one of what happened. And, be safe.
So we stack the
You'll
bodies
be
in the
seeing me
cellar,
again.
and we all leave one by one.
Best pies in London.
Do you think that he has some way to prove that they were servants of this evil god thing?
This is a
I
man.
don't know. Humans are weird.
I
I mean, the
trust
big
him.
dragon guys are weird.
I would trust him with my life. I believe him.
And he starts to leave. And as he leaves, and you say that, he says, well, of course. How about the giant serpentine tattoos on their backs? Turns back around and continues to leave.
Well, I suppose that
Maybe
would
he
help.
just doesn't like guys in purple.
I don't think that's it, Din.
Well,
And you're all inside now.
I look at Tabrin. I hope all of my moral quandaries are solved this easily.
As you look at Tabrin, he, you look at his eyes, and it has this almost hollow, empty, deep, silent fear.
Like the mud.
Yeah, like the mud. And he shakes it off, and he slowly walks over to a table.
I am actually going to take a moment to disrobe one of them enough to look at their backs and see if they actually have this mark.
Yep, there is a large holy symbol or unholy symbol of Sarath tattooed on their shoulders.
Well, I suppose that settles that. So,
Folks.
Din, back to our conversation. It appears
wait,
that anybody that
wait.
has this symbol on them, we can just kill.
How did he see the symbol through their cloaks?
It was likely magic.
He has
Like your
X-ray
rope.
vision.
No, not like the... No, it's not like the rope.
I've
finally-
completely accepted that explanation.
The rope isn't... That's not even...
And while Brig has a minor mental breakdown, the innkeeper strolls through the door and drops a large pile of ingredients and food that he was carrying in large bags onto the ground in complete shock.
We'll
What
take care of this.
happened here?
They lit the place
Wow,
on fire!
Mouse knocked on the door.
I
You
take
lit the
out
place
the
on
the satchel of trinkets and rings and coins that I collected from the day before and hand it to the innkeeper and say, "This ought to take care of it. Let's get this place cleaned up." And I motion to
tests
the
the weight.
others.
He tests the weight of the sack. He says, "Aye, that'll do."
I motion to the others. I have something I need to share with you guys.
I hope it's breakfast.
Should
Perhaps we
I-
should... what time do your guests start arriving?
Tavern-
They won't. Not today. My inn was shut down. Some kind of inquisition or something. I was told I needed to leave.
Oh, well,
These may be the Inquisitors.
I think
And
it's over.
you can likely reopen tomorrow.
Well, we'll make sure to repair the damage the fire they set might have caused.
Oh, I can do that. I have a cantrip that just repairs stuff.
Oh, mending. You can just mend the...
Yeah, I'll just mend everything. I totally forgot I had that.
Okay, so the cleric starts wandering around and repairing things just by
Tavern,
gesturing at them.
you had something for us?
Should we?
when I put the ring on, I just now figured it out. I think I saw Sarath himself.
Where's the ring?
That's somewhat terrifying.
I don't want
The
that thing
rings-
anywhere near me.
The ring's
Wait.
protected.
You lived
Um,
in Sarath when you were 12?
I don't. How did you?
That is a really good question, but
He
I'll
said he went...
Oh, I get. You have a great memory.
I never said that I went home, but that mud that was on me was from home and reminded me of home.
That was one of the more confusing things you've ever said.
Well,
So somebody was carrying around mud from your home and met you.
I believe my Fey ancestors saved me from Sarath and removed the ring from my finger. It's now in safekeeping, hidden. But we need to figure out what Sarath is up to, and
Rogar, I don't remember. Does Sarath have something to do with storms? Is that part of its domain?
So Sarath itself isn't said to hold any power over storms.
Alright.
They're an evil deity centered around war and chaos, but there's no direct reference to storms at all.
Alright.
Sarath is working with the Darkwind Elemental.
And if anybody has knowledge arcana, they can roll to see how much they know about Darkwind elementals.
I am not trained in Arcana.
No.
Brieg is certainly not trained in Arcana. It's entirely
but
possible
at
that Lord
the
Silverstar might
mention,
be.
I was going to say, at the mention of Darkwind elementals, you feel a wave of calm wash over you.
Well, plus some training would be 3 more if
Yeah.
Lord Silverstar is
okay,
trained
so
in that.
Silverstar has made his appearance, and he is shocked. He knows exactly what Darkwind elementals are. They are like the evil brothers of the natural and very neutral air elementals. They exist, they coexist on the plane of elemental air, and they're very, very, very nasty. Very nasty. As evil as it gets.
Typically chaotic.
Yes.
So, it strikes me as odd that the Darkwind elementals would ally themselves with anyone. It seems that they're too unpredictable for that.
I don't know that their relationship is great, but there's definitely something going on between the two.
I'm glad that my sudden changes in attitude and accents are now just taken in stride.
The party has gotten used to it.
I have voices in my head, and you express different ones.
You want to know why our conversation about how people are on cargo complex didn't go well?
I'm afraid I don't know what conversation you're referencing.
Poor
Nice one.
Din.
At least is useful.
So I explain in an obnoxious lecturing tone as everything that I know about the Darkwind elementals.
Yeah, so they're evil elementals that exist on the elemental plane of air. They are chaotic evil. They're very nasty chaps. They're responsible for most of the natural disasters caused by wind and wave, because they can whip up
Like
tsunamis.
upsetting our ship?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, something like that. They're said to be almost impossible to bind, and that's why there is so little documentation about it, because every time anybody historically has tried to bind one of these Darkwind elementals to service, things have gone poorly.
Poorly.
Very
Yeah.
poorly.
So I give you that speech, except it takes like 10 times as long, and it uses a lot of big words. It's kind of obnoxious to listen to.
I prepare breakfast while you speech.
And you have plenty of time to do so.
So, in conclusion, it's obvious to me that what we have here is a situation wherein this evil deity, Serath, is using or somehow manipulating the Darkwind elementals, and our course appears obvious. We needs oppose such action. Or at least study it.
Well, the only lead I've got is the entertainer from yesterday. And if I might, I have an appointment today, and perhaps I could leave you to clean up the mess. I feel terrible. I feel terrible not helping.
Do you need this?
It's okay. The entertainer paid for it.
Well, I didn't pay for the cleanup. We've got to still carry and hide bodies, which, you know, friends help friends move, and real friends help friends move bodies, as the old dwarven saying goes. But I should make my appointment, I think. It may be our only lead.
Yeah, so...
Are you the only one invited to said appointment?
It was a fairly specific invitation for me.
So I reach into my pocket and find that I have something there that I spirited away with my mage hand earlier, and pull it out. Say, is this
I'll need that.
important?
Not an ear.
That's my invitation.
Odd. How did I end? Never mind. Here you are.
Thanks. You were keeping it safe for me. These folks in the purple, they wanted it.
What else have we got to worry about here? That wouldn't be your only lead. There are a couple of more things that you might want to investigate as well, just as a memory jogger. You did have those
We have a
books
book.
and the notes from the locked cedar box
Oh, right.
that you
okay.
recovered from the dungeon. So there's a couple of things that will need to be investigated.
I'm pretty sure I had those books in my backpack. I'll pull those out and leave them on the counter as I grab one more sausage from breakfast and take off out the door.
Books. Why? My favorite.
And Silver Star is going to sit down and start reading. Or attempting to read and decipher,
Attempting to
because that's what Silver Star does.
Indeed.
He likes knowledge. Okay. So, is anybody else wanting to do anything today besides... I mean, most of the damage has been repaired by Rogar. He's run around casting Mending a lot and repaired most of the damage. There are the small matter of the corpses to deal with.
Do
5
we
of
just
them.
prop them up at tables and pretend like they're really, really drunk?
A really super long weekend at Bernie's. We'll just leave them there for.
We'll have to do Spare the Dying a lot. Does that preserve the corpses too?
It is not.
You realize some of them don't have heads. So the disguise check's going to be really, really...
Let's pull up their cloaks.
That doesn't work.
We'll take care of it at nightfall.
You can't
the
pull up a
innkeeper-
cloak on no head.
The innkeeper seemed like super accepting of the fact that there were a bunch of corpses in his room. He might have an idea of how to get rid of them.
He really likes my beer.
He walked in, he's like, "Oh,
And
5
a
dead guys."
whole bag full of valuables.
Yeah, he's like, 5 dead guys. Oh, sure, a few gold will fix my table. Like, like no reaction to the dead guys at all. He might be able to suggest a way to get rid of them.
I guess we could dump them in the sewers.
Yeah, this is
Certainly not a bad idea.
as good an idea as any.
Okay, while you guys...
I
Decide
caught
to work that
myself
out.
before saying you have a wolf somewhere, but
I know I
caught
already
myself.
left, but you should totally keep the costumes. They might be handy. And I can't tell you that, but somebody would have thought of it.
Well, I'm not sure that they actually will be that handy. They appear to have been... I mean, we don't know if the organization that they were pretending to imitate may or may not actually exist.
Well, you know they exist because the big dragon kin fellow said
Oh yeah,
they
these
were
aren't
pretending to be followers of.
these aren't them.
Valcia.
Okay,
But-
but we appear to have no real bone to pick with the followers of Valcia. Do we want to be able to disguise ourselves as them?
Maybe? I'm not there.
The
I'm bad
note
at
might
this.
help.
We're bad at this.
I just go like it clicks in Tabern's mind. Wait, they had a warrant, and I go searching for the warrant to save it for future
Nefarious
use.
purposes later on.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
guess there's only 2 of us that would actually fit in their clothes. We can keep a couple of outfits.
Just in case. While you guys are dealing with the bodies and so forth, as you sort of stand there, puzzling, like you're standing there stroking whatever facial hair or lack of facial hair you might not have, and the innkeeper walks over to you and says, "Don't know how to get rid of them, huh?"
Well, we've had some thoughts.
I've had my fair share of shankings in this bar, and if it's in my best interest to make sure that the law isn't involved, I can show you how to get rid of them.
Excellent. Does the law get involved? I have some questions about how the legal system in this town runs.
I can help you with that. But first of all, let's get rid of these bodies. And he leaves the inn for a little while, comes back, he brings some friends. His friends assist you in the removal of the bodies. You don't know where they're taken, you don't know how they're disposed of. But shortly after, you find yourself in the inn without a bunch of corpses,
Excellent.
which is quite handy. Now let's go do what Llama is experiencing right now, because that's important as well, I guess. So, Llama, you've wandered off to the address.
Mhm.
And,
With the bauble.
With the little bauble that you had. And you find yourself standing in front of a well-turned metal door with a small round slot sitting in the front of it.
Okay. I knock 3 times and put the thing in the slot.
Okay, as you put the thing in the slot, make a reflex save.
Oh, dear. I'm pretty good at those. Hopefully this goes okay. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, you almost made it.
Whoa!
Almost made it. Like lightning.
Oh, I don't have that showing on the stream. It was 23 was the roll you guys didn't see.
You almost made it, which would have been terrible. Like lightning, a ring of metal, just larger than your arm, shoots out from the door around where you've just placed the little bauble into the slot, and clamps down around your wrist. Not firmly, not like, and it's not heavy or anything like that, but it's definitely on there, and there's no seam or join or any kind of indication that it's going to be removed very easily.
Okay. So I've just been trapped to the door.
No. It's like a bangle.
Oh, it's
Or
just
a
like I've
bracelet.
just been marked. Like it's not
Yeah.
it's not attached to anything. It's just now I have a bracelet.
Yeah. Now you have a bracelet.
Okay. I inspect it for a moment. That's curious. I'm a bit shocked. Does anyone come to the door?
Nope.
Okay. Is the bauble still there?
No, it's rolled down the hole.
It's gone in. Like
Yep.
I operated the Rube Goldberg machine with it.
Yes.
Curiouser and curiouser. I knock again. I'm
No
so
response.
excited for these people. Why? Okay. Is the bracelet? Is it going to fit in another thing to activate the door? Is this the key? Are they going to let me into their club?
After much inspecting, taking your time, looking over every inch of the doorway, there appears to be no way to enter. In fact, roll me a investigation check.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll do. You've spent plenty of time checking it. The door is not a door, it's a wall.
Is there a door?
Not that you can see.
I mean, if I like go all the way around the building, does this building have an entrance?
Nope.
No, there's nothing. I have just been marked. I'm gonna need to cut my hand off. That's really
The
unfortunate.
chat is describing it as tagged like a duck. Apparently we tag ducks.
How blindly optimistic is Harbeck?
At some point, the like dwarvish centeredness and realism has got to set in.
So, completely torn between the like his dwarven like knowing how other people would react, which would be never trust a human. We've just been tricked again. How could they get my hopes up? And just wanting so badly for it to be real. Harbeck decides, this is how they'll contact me. They'll talk to me soon. And he walks back to the inn.
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. I did not percept.
You did not percept anything. Okay, we're back to the inn then. By this stage, the corpses have been removed. You guys at the inn, was there anything you were doing during corpse removal process other than assisting in the removal of said corpses?
I was
Eating
studying those
breakfast.
books.
Looking at the books.
Studying those books. Okay. Languages from you guys that were looking at books.
Common. That's all I have written down.
Common, Novish, and Elvish.
Common, Gnomish, and Elvish. Okay. The... and you're currently Silver Star as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
The script... Like, Brieg had looked at the books before, right? Back in the dungeon.
Yeah.
And he had determined that he couldn't work out what they were. The script looks kind of familiar, but he couldn't actually work out what it is. Silverstar knows what the script is, he just isn't versed in it enough to read. The script in the books is celestial in nature.
Of course.
The scroll is abyssal. He recognizes the form of the writing in both, but is not versed in either of the languages well enough to read them.
Well,
And Llama returns, and he is wearing some fancy new jewelry, which all of you will notice because it's shiny metal and the
And he's
dwarf
very
typically
proud of
doesn't
it
wear
because
much.
he's convinced himself all the way back that this is how they're gonna find him.
How did they get that over your massive fist?
Why are you wearing only one handcuff?
That's not a handcuff. But
You just made him doubt it further.
they are master artificers, and they've got a machine that can get a small metal band with no links or seals around a wrist. They're masterful. They're marvels. It's wonderful.
Do you, dear dwarf, realize how naive you are?
I'm actively choosing to be naive. I've put a lot of thought into this, and don't ruin it for me. Give me my 3 days. They've got 3 days to contact me before I let myself stop. But don't do that. That's why I like the other you more than this you.
Oh,
Is a really odd thing for you to have said. What other me? There is only me. Oh, you mean the gnome?
That's the one. I sure like that guy. He's not a jerk.
can I get perception rolls from everybody, please?
No. I rolled a 4.
Boom.
We got a
19.
10 from Din, an 18 from Brig, an 18 from Flick.
A 22 from Rogar. You completely missed that.
Rogar's went
20.
before mine, I didn't see it. A 22 from Rogar.
Okay, Rogar, Brig, and Flick, each of you hear an odd sound. It's like tiny chisels, tiny metal chisels hammering on stone. Teeny tiny metal chisels hammering on stone.
Where is it coming from?
From outside the door.
What?
It's like ting 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 ting.
Does anyone else hear that?
It's coming from outside.
You're what?
What is it? And I'll leave my studies for the moment since I can't just will myself to understand Celestial, and I will go stick my head out the door.
So you open the door up.
Yeah.
Okay. The tink 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 sound changes from that to the sound of teeny tiny chisels knocking on wood. And you look around and you see nothing. Except Harbeck. Harbeck, there is a teeny tiny metallic spider racing towards you.
Ooh. I welcome it with open hands. I hope it jumps up onto them.
So the rest of you see Harbeck go, ooh, and then stick his hands out like this with his fancy new metal bracelet on it.
So we only
feel like
have
you should
one
kill it.
sane character in this entire party.
Yeah, and it's Din.
No, it's Rogar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about our nice level-headed cleric.
Yeah, the level-headed cleric. Somebody's got to be able to like ground the rest of this group. Jeez. It does jump up into your hands, Llama, and after a brief second, it deposits a small piece of paper in your hand. So, and then jumps up your hand.
Paper
and
pooping
leaves.
metal spider.
Now, this is really weird for you guys because what you see, everybody else, except for Llama, what everybody else sees is a small piece of curled up paper appear in Llama's hands, in Harbeck's hands.
How did you know that was coming?
I told you they were masters. They're really good at what they do. Did you see the intricacy of the... Oh, they're gonna love... My skill set is going to complement their mechanical skill. It's going to be marvelous.
I'm certain that they are experts at whatever it is they do. My concern is, what do they do?
They build things. They build little things and big things and
To what
fantastical
end?
things. To every end. What do you want to do? They can build a thing that'll do it.
Do you have any information about them? At all, whatsoever?
Well, didn't you see the spider? The little mechanical... It was like... What do you call him? There's no word. It was an automaton that came in here and jumped up on the counter and into my hands and gave me the paper. Did you not?
I didn't see it, but regardless.
Oh, maybe the...
What does the
Maybe the
paper
bracelet
say?
lets me see it.
Regardless, all you know about them is that they apparently craft excellent beer and design machines. You have no idea what their motivations are. You have no idea what
Doesn't
their
anybody care
allegiances
what the
are.
paper says?
Perhaps it may shed some light on my current line of questioning. You have a point.
I'll read it. I've been waiting for a break in the conversation. What does it say?
Okay, so the piece of paper says, "Welcome, Harbeck." Calls you by name. "Welcome, Harbeck, to the Artificers Guild. The bracelet that we have lovingly crafted for you will allow you to see various message delivery services that we have created. The greater world knows little of what we are capable of, and you will, in time, learn of our secrets. But for now, there is something that I must ask of you. A way to further instruction."
Oh, that's so exciting. It's from the Artificers Guild. None of you... Okay. There's... Well, how do I... You are... 3/4 of you are pretty magically gifted. Right? But you must know that those magical gifts are in decline. And the way forward, the way of the future, the way to solve the problems that our ancestors solved with magic is technology. And these are the people doing the technology. And they've noticed me. They've noticed me.
So these people are the opposite of what our fake clerical guardsmen were pretending to be. Or something.
Yes. The fake clerical guardsmen pretend to hate these people because they don't like their problems to be solved in efficient ways, I guess. They like life to be difficult and to plough the field with their hands and muscles. That I don't know why anyone would want that.
Well, I still have some questions. I have an innate aversion to anyone that is so secretive, but I suppose they have their reasons, what with the clergy opposing them.
It's not a popular idea yet, but it will be. When people see the benefits, it'll be popular.
All right. I suppose you will likely want our assistance with whatever task it is that they set you on.
I don't know what the task is yet, but perhaps I might need your help. It would mean a lot to me if you'd be willing.
Fair enough. In the meantime, do you think that there's anyone in this town that speaks Celestial? Or rather, that reads it?
I'd imagine you've got two options there. Someone religious we might check a temple. And the other is, maybe there's a university Is there anywhere that collects knowledge? Maybe a magic school, if that's still a thing, that can gain traction. Or maybe my friends.
Maybe we could put up a sign on a big pole somewhere that says we need somebody who speaks Celestial.
I am certain that would work, Din. However, perhaps drawing attention to ourselves is not exactly recommended at this juncture.
We set the inn on fire. People already know we're here.
We put it out, we've repaired the damage, the innkeeper doesn't seem to mind. I think that we have managed to keep a relatively low profile, considering all that has occurred.
Okay.
Silverstar has some blurred lines about things that he remembers occurring and things that he does not remember occurring.
Apparently.
Okay. So what's the plan? What are we going to be doing? You're going to be trying to decipher the books, the scroll.
Yeah. So I guess until we get await the further instruction, Silverstar, for as long as he is in control here, is going to go and see if there is some library, some school of higher learning here in the city. This is a relatively large city, right?
Yeah, this is Vir. This is the capital of Eranon.
Yeah.
It is the center of learning. It's where a lot of advances in non-magical art forms are originating from, which kind of makes it a bit of a what's the word that I'm looking for? I've lost the word. Anyway, it's a bit of a dichotomy because that's the word I was looking for. The church that worships the god that hates this sort of thing was founded here before the city was built here, but now the city is starting to pursue these innovations, shall we say.
Okay.
Although you've heard of nothing, particularly this is for you, Llama, you've heard of nothing as advanced as what you just encountered from your friend the juggler.
Hence the insane glee.
Yeah. So it seems that a lot of what is happening, a lot of what is being developed and created is not being publicly displayed, shall we say.
Well, I think if we're going to look for someone to interpret our writings here, finding a religious is probably not a great idea, because these documents are likely of religious origin and it may cause some issues. But if we find an academic who's interested in them academically, that might be a smarter way. So Lord Silverstar is going to go try to...
I think Lord Silverstar will have the most luck at...
I know a few places we can...
At a college or whatever. But if I take one sample, I can just ask around when these guys get in contact with me, and there's an off chance that they'll know something.
Okay.
Okay, so the end result is Lord Silverstar is going to wander around and try and find somebody academically minded to decipher the Celestial. Is that correct?
Well, so we have... Is it a book and a set of scrolls? Is that what we have?
You have 3 books that were found. There were 3 books that you found inside the dungeon, and there was a couple of scrolls, 2 scrolls that you found inside the cedar box.
Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of the books if they appear related. If it seems like it's a series, if that's something that I can deduce, I will take the first ones, and 1 of the scrolls with me. I'll leave the other ones with Harbeck.
I only need a scroll. I think my chances of success at finding someone are the lowest. So I'll just take 1 scroll, and if I do find someone, we can go back with more stuff.
Okay. Yeah, then I will take most of the stuff, and I will leave Harbeck 1 thing to ask his
And Tabern said he might have a
friends.
lead, so we should give him a book or something.
Well,
I was going to go
come with me. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So my emotions over the next 30 minutes are a roller coaster. because I'm so excited. I need to get my liquid portfolio ready, and I run to the brewery. And then I remember that I heard a loud crashing sound, and my heart breaks. And then determination just sets in because I'm getting my liquid portfolio done. And I get to work first on hopefully something that reduces my need for sleep so I can work on everything else.
Let's make it more Red Bull.
As a side note, so the loud crash that you heard wasn't any of your equipment. It was some barrels that were knocked over. Nothing breakable, nothing expensive, nothing like that.
So joy, remember, joy. Perfect.
Yes, yeah. Joy, remember, joy. Emotional roller coaster. Silverstar, you're going to wander around, try and find somebody who can decipher.
Yes. So hopefully at a university, maybe there's a linguist that studies Celestial because he thinks the Celestial is interesting.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay. Roll an investigation for me.
Skills. Investigation.
No.
With
No. So you have a good solid look around for a while. You try and find somebody who speaks Celestial while maintaining, at least some element of secrecy about what you're doing. So you're not being super open about it. And you find it very difficult to sort of gather that kind of information that you're looking for. And after a few hours of searching around, you slowly become more fearful of your surroundings and your personalities shift.
Okay.
And you find yourself in the big, wide city, alone, with 2 books containing celestial writings and 1 one scroll containing abyssal writings.
Am I not with him?
You are with him, sorry. Yeah, so not quite alone, but with Tabarin.
I, having spent a lot of time trying to further education and researching magic and things of that nature, often went to libraries. So my first thought was to essentially go to a library and look for, a familiar scholar there to see if we could get some help on these.
You could have a look around, but you're probably not going to find anybody. You can roll an investigation as well for me.
Yeah, I'm not real good at that, but I will certainly not do well.
You have the same amount of luck. No luck whatsoever.
Tabarin,
Yes.
do you know where Harbeck is?
Yes.
Can we go back to him? I don't feel comfortable out here. There's all these people.
Yeah. We can head back.
And I need my dwarf that I like to hide behind.
We can get there pretty quick. Stay close.
Thank you.
How long have they been gone?
Couple hours, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 3 or 4 hours. It's starting to get on towards, late afternoon. So everybody heads back to the inn? Is that sort of what's going on here?
Yeah. Were Rogar and Din doing anything in particular?
No, just praying to people who will listen to him. Trying to convert people to follow Bahamut, the one true God, the only God. Everybody else is bollocks.
Talking to my wolf about how weird people are.
Yes. Talking to your wolf about how weird people are. There's 2 people who talk to animals in this party, actually. Alright.
Some of them legitimately, and some of them
Hey,
quasi-legitimately.
Gnomes can speak with small animals.
Oh.
My ferret actually does understand me when I talk to him.
My mistake.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Okay, well, in that case, so everybody heads back to the inn. You're sort of stumbled around for a bit, tried to find somebody who spoke Celestial, tried to find somebody who spoke Abyssal. Didn't have any luck getting those things deciphered. But you do, you maybe make some headway into trying to find out who might be able to decipher these things for you. But you get back to the inn. It's been a long day, between the killing Sarath's followers and mechanical spiders and mysterious notes and giant dragonkin skull cracking and all of the other business that's going on. You're probably quite exhausted, and I think that will make a very appropriate stop for our session tonight, because we have hit the end of our available time slot.
Hours.
3 hours. It goes so quickly.